Welcome to the very special birthday edition of She Sells Radio. Well, if your birthday is also today, October 28th, happy birthday to you, my friend. And this episode is for you. And this is also my birthday. Now, if you have been watching the video series, you may know I am actually recording this about a week before my birthday, but this is coming out on my birthday. And I feel like I am close enough as I record this, even though we got a week. A lot could happen in a week. I don't know. If it does, I'll post about it on social. I'm close enough, though, to say I have learned some really beautiful lessons this year. And I wanted to take a brief break from the Prosperity Laws series to come on and share. Like, what would I have told Elyse a year ago on this day to know going into this next year of her life? And this has been, I was thinking about it in the shower this morning. Like, it's been a really beautiful year. It's been a really beautiful year. There have been times where it felt like a very challenging, not a challenging year at all, but there were seasons in the year that felt challenging, as we all have, right? There was so much wisdom that was gained. There was so much, I think, deepening of spiritual connection and like truly knowing who my source is, truly knowing who I am at a deeper level than I ever have before. And I want to share with you some of the things that I learned. And there are four that are like really standing out to me. I know you're supposed to do things in like threes or fives or sevens. I got four right now. Maybe another one will come out on the episode. I don't know, but that's spoiler alert. One of them is make your own rules. And I'm making my own rules right now because I got four. So the first thing before we get there the first thing I think I've really learned is to trust the process and to keep showing up. Trust the process and keep showing up. There was a time earlier this year where I was going through some things that felt very challenging. And there were moments where I thought, is this what I'm meant to do? Like, I will be so transparent with you. There were moments where I questioned it. And I never, like, at my core, I knew that that was a lie. At my core, I knew this is my calling. But there were times that felt hard enough where I honestly kind of questioned it. And what I learned in those is that there is a refining process that we all get to go through on the way to what we really desire. And I was being refined and I was being prepared. And whatever refining process you may be going through in your life right now, it doesn't mean the thing's not meant for you. It doesn't mean it's not meant to happen. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It simply means that you get to become the person who has what you say you want. Whether you have declared, I'm going from 6 figures to 7 figures, whether you have declared, I'm going to become the president of my company, whether you have declared, I'm ready for love. Guess what? When you have those desires, when you declare those things on your life, they are meant for you. And there is a refining process that we get to go through in order to step into being the person who has that result. And so I really had quite a few moments of that, especially this summer, I would say. And in the moment, of course, it didn't feel good. Of course it didn't. I had days, combine that with like first trimester hormones going on. I had days where I was like, it's like 11 and I need the day to be done. I'm being so honest with you. And yet I chose to keep showing up. And I chose to remember things like there are cycles in life. There are phases in life. I'm so grateful to have the support of my husband and some very close people around me who could really help through that. But the key with that is you keep showing up for yourself every day, acknowledging the wins. For me, the way I really kind of finally got out of struggle was I surrendered. I surrendered to the refining process because your ego will fight it. And I started to look for what was good in all of it. And that will shift you really quickly into what you're actually going for. And that ties in with the second, which is know that the challenges that you are going through are preparing you for your next level. Like, oh, year ago, Elyse, like, I think she knew it, but there was such a long period in my life where like I played small. So the challenges were kind of small, even though they didn't always feel that way. But when you decide to play big, sometimes you get a big challenge and it's because you're ready for it. And it's because you've said, I want the big life. I've said yes to the big life. I've said yes to the big money. I've said yes to the big career. I've said yes to the big opportunities, the big impact. And that means the challenges that like you're ready for bigger challenges. And it's not punishment. It is preparation. It's preparing you for your next level. So when you can look at that and say, what am I kind of like, what's the initiation right now? What am I being asked to learn? And this is even, I mean, this is a very mild, simple one, but like for me as a mom this year, like there have been so many lessons in patience. I generally have not considered patience one of my virtues, we'll just say. But I remember that now when, it's nighttime and I just want to go to sleep. And Jack's latest thing is making an ew with his dinner. And this is what we call it. And he laughs and he says, "Oh, I did an ew." Because he literally like combines all his food on his plate and then pours seltzer water over it. Yes, he's obsessed with seltzer. And then he like, this is so gross. Like he eats it or he drinks it. If you have a toddler, do they do that too? Or is this just in our household? But I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, I just want to go to bed. And he's like, "Oh, making an ew." I'm like, I know. And I'm thinking about, I get to clean that afterwards. So there have been so many moments of getting to remember, what am I being asked to learn in this moment? And what's the challenge? What's the initiation? And then it almost, you kind of bring this energy of like, okay, bring it on. Like, I got this. I can do this. Right? Like if that's really the point of this, that I'm being refined into the person who has what I'm going for, bring it on. What do I get to learn? Who do I get to be? How do I get to release these old patterns and old triggers that are clearly not a match for where I want to go so that I can receive what I want? And then looking for gifts in those challenges. And I shared this on the episode where I talked about our pregnancy. And it was like this summer in the midst of some things that felt very challenging in my life, there was us finding out that we were pregnant. And there were also gifts in other areas too, but I don't think that was an accident timing wise. And it was this remembrance of there are beautiful gifts that come that are equivalent to the size of the challenge you face. And so remembering to look for the gifts in the challenge. And the more you consciously look for those and you choose to focus on those instead of what doesn't feel right, the faster you'll find that you're in a very different set of circumstances very soon. The third thing that I think I've really learned this year is truly the power of making your own rules. And I shared a little bit of it on an episode recently. I shared it in greater detail with the 10K Club ladies this week. But there have been several paths I went down this year that were shoulds. Like, this is how I should do it if I want this, or this is how I've seen other people do it. And there was a part of me all along where I was like, oh, this feels a little bit off, but like just a little bit. But I would ignore it because I want I don't know why I ignored it. Frankly, I think the ego drive was like, this is what it has to be. And I realized those paths weren't going to lead me to my greatest happiness. And I'm so clear now that my greatest happiness is all about freedom, about financial freedom, of course, and also about time freedom, to be able to work a couple hours if I want to and go have the rest of the day with my family. To be able to, this next week, we're taking the whole week off and we're going to the mountains. By the time you watch this, we will have been in the mountains for about a week. We're going to go and we're going to celebrate my birthday and be there. And it's like, I've pretty much cleared my calendar. I've got like one really good podcast interview and one group call with my high level mastermind. And that's about it. And like that, to me, the spaciousness is so important. And I've really learned to check in and give myself that permission to do it my way. And just because you saw someone else model, doing something a certain way and getting the result you want, number one, is that really the result you want? Like, is that what will make you happiest? Not just wealthiest, but happiest. And two, is that the right way for you? Because there's so many different ways. I was on a discovery call last week, and what I shared with the woman was like, there's so many ways to make $1 million. Like, there's so many ways to do it. You can do it a million different ways, but it's what's in alignment for you. So deciding that you're really going to make your own rules in terms of how you spend your time, how you live your life, how you make your money. It's so important. And the fourth and final thing that I really am so grateful that I got at a deeper level this year is, don't try to do it alone. Do not try to do it alone. Whether that for you means it's really time to get that mentor that's going to help you get to where you want to go, or it's really time to hire that team member that is going to take so much off your plate that you've allowed to kind of bog you down. Whew. Do not try to do it alone. I relabeled my team this morning. I haven't told them this yet, but for me, it's like they're my time freedom team. Like, I have invested very heavily in team over the past few months. Not a bloated amount of team, but like really bringing on very high level, high caliber, really incredible. They just all happen to be women. Not that I would ever have an issue with anyone else being on the team. Like, I love everyone, but they all happen to be women. But like, bringing these incredible women into the team, and the weight that has been lifted of having to like think up all my own social media posts, or write all the emails, or figure out how to structure the back end company operations. Like, the weight that has been lifted, it was so worth it. So whatever it is for you, do not try to do it alone. That's not how we're designed. That's not how we thrive. There are times when there's something we do need to go through alone, and you generally know when you're guided in that direction. But in general, the lone wolf, the feeling of the lone wolf, like, I have to do this myself, I can't call in help, I can't call in support, very much a limiting belief, and it's not going to get you where you want to go. So those are my birthday reflections for you. Number one, trust the process, keep showing up. Number two, know that the challenge is preparing you for your next level. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Number three, make your own rules. And number four, don't try to do it alone. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for being a member of the community. I am so, so, so grateful to you. I will add this because we're getting really close on the early bird ticket. If you want to come and spend time with me in Sedona in a couple months, ElyseArcher.com/Sedona. We're going to be there January 17th through 19th. at the beautiful Enchantment Resort. We've got early bird tickets on sale through Monday, October 31st. You can save quite a bit of money on your ticket. And I'm really excited to share with this group in particular from a greater level of wisdom through the refining process that I've been through this year. So would love to pour into you and help you create your own quantum leap in that time. So ElyseArcher.com/Sedona. Thank you again, my friend, for being a part of the community, sending so much love. And I will see you on our next episode.